The X-Men, which is perhaps the long-running, non-rebooted superhero franchise in Hollywood history. Do correct me if I'm wrong at HFM Film Show, but I don't think I am. This year sees the latest and maybe final instalment in the series, but more on that later. Dark Phoenix stars Sophie Turner, Jennifer Lawrence, James McAvoy and the rest as Jean Grey battles her own demons to save the rest of humanity. Check out the trailer right now. This is Dark Phoenix. So that was the trailer for Dark Phoenix, and if you are to believe the critics in the run-up to its release, then it is the worst film in the X-Men series. So my question to you, Beth, do you agree with the critics?
No, the worst X-Men films are the Wolverine ones.
That's controversial.
I know. I love Hugh Jackman, but they're terrible. Dark Phoenix is not that bad.
I think, you know, it's a case of expectation management. I think, had I not already kind of been told that Dark Phoenix was by far the worst one in the series, I don't think I would have come out being so positive about it.
Yeah.
But knowing what everyone thought in preview screenings, I think I had such a low bar that it didn't take much to surpass that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Like, everyone has told me how terrible and awful this film is. I actually thought it was pretty good. Like, and I don't know if I would have thought that if everyone had said to me, "Oh, it's amazing," I definitely would have been disappointed.
So my issue with the film, because I actually quite like the X-Men. I think the franchise is good. I think that it's got a great cast, and I actually thought the scenes, some of the bigger scenes in this film, were really well done. Like, the special effects were amazing.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with it is that Marvel have kind of set such a high standard now for superhero films, not just as a sort of a big standalone special effects blockbuster, but as something that's a lot more layered, that has a wider context that fits into some sort of bigger overall whole. And it felt like Dark Phoenix was kind of taking us back to the days where a superhero movie was just a big kind of special effects romp. There wasn't much else beneath the surface, I didn't think.
I agree with that. And like we said after we saw it this week, that it was quite unnecessary. It was an unnecessary film. It doesn't really tie into the rest of the X-Men series. I love the X-Men.
Yeah.
I really, really do. And I love Marvel. And I think from that point of view, it was unnecessary. You know, it wasn't anything new. You could figure out what the end was going to be, you know, without even knowing anything else about the film.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why it's getting slated by the critics.
Yeah, and I can see why. I think it depends how you look at this film, because if you're going in there with some sort of delusion that the X-Men is somehow going to be this incredible film that starts being that all kind of fits into like all the previous films and somehow links back into like Deadpool and all these other things, and does the kind of intertextual layering that other Marvel films do, then you'll be disappointed.
Massively.
Like, this is not a film that even tries to do that. It's quite a literal and two-dimensional adaptation of a part of the X-Men story that we're already familiar with.
Yeah, and I do wonder whether it is like a stepping stone to what they're going to do with the X-Men next. But, you know, it's not needed. It could not be there.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think it was an essential film. I think that it feels like they're at a point now where they're just milking the franchise as much as possible with the cast they've got.
Yeah,
because
I think it was really just trying to get Sophie Turner into a film for them.
Well, she was in the last one as well. She appeared in...
but very briefly. She wasn't a big part.
True. I think it's more that they kind of know Jennifer Lawrence, James McAvoy, and Fassbender. They're all probably getting a little bit past the point now where they want to carry on with the franchise.
Yeah.
So let's just squeeze another film out while we still can.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, they're not going to get that sort of cast together again. I think, I mean, we'll talk about this in a sec, but I it feels like the franchise in its current form is very much being brought to a close.
Yeah.
And whether that would have been the case before the whole Disney Fox thing, we don't know, and we never will know. But it certainly felt like Dark Phoenix wasn't even trying to set up taking it anywhere else.
No. It was just... There was no point. Like, it's not a bad film on its own, but I just don't get why they did it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing, what they're playing at.
I agree wholeheartedly. And we'll chat a little bit more about the whole Disney thing soon. But let's do a quick buy, borrow, or bin on Dark Phoenix.
Oh, I don't know. I'd probably borrow it.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're going to buy it, aren't you?
I think I'm going to bin it.
Ooh, controversial.
Yeah, it didn't do enough, really. I'm not interested. Like, there's so many superhero films out there and so many better ones that I'd rather watch.
True.
You know.
Yeah.
But the X-Men has been a long-standing franchise, and we still have to admire the fact that it's been going for 20 years now.
Yeah.
With the same cast, the same sort of storyline, albeit it's been jumping back and forwards in time so they could recast.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as profitability goes, I think the X-Men has done a hell of a lot in 20 years.
Yeah, I love it. I love the X-Men.
Yeah, so let's just take a quick look back at the legacy of the X-Men in this little featurette from Fox. Okay, so I think we've agreed Dark Phoenix is not the best film in the series, but better than the critics are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk now about the future of X-Men, because as we know, Disney have bought Fox in some crazy mega deal, and that includes the X-Men franchise, which Fox owned.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men are also a Marvel comic, which means everyone's talking about the possibility of bringing the X-Men into the sort of core Marvel fold over the next few years.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of merit in that theory, because Marvel have obviously brought the last few phases of films to quite a big close.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be trying to introduce a lot more superheroes over the next few years. So what do you think the future of X-Men is going to be?
I don't know. I think they're probably going to draw a line under it for now and leave it. And then in a couple of years, they're probably going to just strike it all up again. But it's going to be brand new, like X-Men, brand new mutants, and just a brand new cast. And I think it's going to just start again, and it will be set in the modern day, because like you said, X-Men jumps back and forth. And the last sort of now-day one was quite a few years ago already.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could do it in like the present day, and that would all be... Do you know what I mean? Like they kind of cut it off and start again.
That's kind of taken a page out of the Spider-Man book, really, because they did the same with that. So a few years ago, you might remember Sony, Marvel basically reclaimed the rights to Spider-Man from Sony, who previously made the versions with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Mm-hmm. So when Marvel got the rights, instead of making more with Andrew Garfield, not least because it didn't do very well at the box office, they decided to start from scratch and essentially create an origin film, casting a much younger actor in Tom Holland, and creating something like wiping the slate clean and doing something that fit entirely within their universe. And therefore, I think you're completely right. I think that's what they're going to do with X-Men. Mm-hmm. But I think they need to have a much longer break than they did between Spider-Man reboots.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs to be a good, 5 years.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what they're going to do.
Yeah. I think that makes total sense, because X-Men is a franchise they're going to want to continue to cash in on. Mm-hmm. And why not? But I don't think it will be with the same cast. I honestly believe this is the last time we'll see any of that cast in an X-Men film. Absolutely.
And it's a shame, because I love this cast.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. But yeah, it can't carry on. They're too famous.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to happen again, is it?
No, not at all. And I think, let us know what you think on Twitter at HMN Film Show. We'll be keen to know your thoughts on X-Men and how it could or could not fit into the future MCU.
Mm-hmm.